What a headshot! What a head!
How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own free hit draft for the upcoming Blank Game Week 29. So the first big free hit week is finally upon us. I know there's lots of you out there that are looking to use the free hit chip, but also those of you that are just looking to target some potential free transfers for Blank Game Week 29. Well, luckily this video is going to be relevant for both of those two non-chip plus chip usage, as I've also included going over the projected clean sheets and projected goals for upcoming Blank Game Week 29. So kind of a fusion between the most important part of the ultimate guide plus a free hit draft video. So super insightful, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be an absolute banger. So if you guys want to see my very own free hit draft as well as which players to maybe target for those free transfers, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So the first part of the video is going to be us going over the spread X data. That's going to be the projected clean sheets and projected goals for the 8 remaining fixtures of Blank Game Week 29. So just a reminder, we do have 4 teams that are blanking in Game Week 29. Those 4 teams are going to be Liverpool, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, and finally Newcastle. So all those players won't have a fixture. So a lot of high ownership players are going to be within those 4 teams, and that's why so many people are looking to actually use the free hit chip this week. Now this talking point is my favorite from the ultimate guide, so let's get straight into it. We're going to be going over the projected clean sheet percentages of all of the fixtures. Now as always, we do have the FPL color ratings. Green is the best and maroon is the worst. Not exactly in equal amount in each of those categories, as we do have a few less teams this blank. Now in terms of the kind of free hit, what you guys can therefore now use is the odds. If you kind of back the odds, you can go over the highest projected clean sheet chances, and that's going to help you guys pick your defense. So for example, let's go over the top team at the moment. It's Arsenal with 35%, and right off the bat, that's not the highest percentage I've seen, and therefore this might actually be quite a low scoring defensive game week. Now we're actually tied at the top there. Arsenal and Everton both have 35%. So if you guys are looking at an Everton defender, they might also be quite good for value for money. Other than those teams though, we've got United on 32%, as well as Forest and Wolves are on the 30% mark. But what I might do with these defensive selections is target more attacking defenders, and then it's kind of best of both worlds. Don't think this will be the highest clean sheet game week in the world, and therefore that attacking threat could come in clutch, as if Arsenal against Chelsea is your highest projected clean sheet chance, that's not looking that great. Now in terms of fixtures to avoid, you guys can easily do this on your free hit. Definitely don't go for Spurs, Leicester, Brentford or Brighton defenders. And what you guys can do if you're looking for a defensive replacement with your free transfers, target some of these teams, especially if you're wildcarding in game week 30 or 31. You guys can pause this if you want to go over some of these more kind of grey fixtures and pink fixtures, but let's move on to the projected goals. So the projected goals this week are going to allow you guys to not only pick your attacking options, but also pick your captain, as this week without Mo Salah, there's a few options. Just shows you how hard Erling Haaland must have fallen off if we aren't even considering him as the automatic choice, but at the moment it seems like Chris Wood might have the highest effective ownership. Now Nottingham Forest don't have the exact best projections, only 1.65, Man City are actually the best, and they come in at 2.15. They're also tied with Bournemouth at 2.15, so if you want to go for those Bournemouth midfielders, I would try and go for as many as possible to try and just get whoever scores the goal, as at the moment there's a lot of goal share going between them. Now we also have some very strong fixtures for Fulham as well as United, so that Spurs defense hasn't been fantastic, and I've only seen many people going for those Fulham attackers in their squads. So just one to consider if you maybe want to go for some differentials. I know Raul Jimenez has some healthy effective ownership, but I'm also looking at someone like a Bruno Fernandes from United. Now the one team I also want to speak about is going to be Arsenal at 1.75, so the projections are actually pretty high there, but I've already looked at many of their attackers. So someone like an Odegaard could be quite good if Arsenal step it up. Just some question marks about their current form and their attack at the moment, so I'll probably avoid them on the free hit. Now you guys can also go for the kind of avoidance of the teams in maroon. It's your usual suspects, the newly promoted squads, but also Chelsea and Cole Palmer at 1.03. I mean, if enough people are selling Cole Palmer because of the bad form, don't really see why you have to select him on your free hit. Maybe take a chance on a better fixture, and there are better ones than Arsenal. So I think that you guys can basically target the teams in green. I mean, a double up or triple up from Bournemouth, Erling Haaland, Bruno, and then maybe 1 or 2 Fulham attackers. So once again, you guys can pause the screen if you want to. Won't go over exactly kind of every team here, but these stats are super useful for my own free transfers and should be for you guys on the free hit. So now let's go over the actual free hit draft. As you guys can see, we have quite a bit of money in the bank, 2.4, and our bench is absolutely stacked. So the reason I've gone for this bench is just to show you guys how much money you guys have in the bank. Makes sense though, no Cole Palmer at the moment, no Mo Salah, and Isaac also doesn't have a fixture. So yes, you guys can go for Raya, Mbumo, Guardiola and Saliba all on your bench, but as mentioned, I just want to showcase that you guys could have an absolutely stacked one. So my current goalkeeper is going to be Sells from Nottingham Forest. I just think this is a great fixture. Ipswich aren't in the best kind of attacking moment, and that Forest defense has been pretty resilient. Now in terms of projected points, Ray is currently leading against Chelsea, but I just don't really favour that fixture that much, and I had a chance to complete my triple up from Nottingham Forest. There are a few other options though. You guys go for an Onana against Leicester, great fixture. There's plenty of goalkeeper options. I just think Sells is pretty safe. Now defensive department, I kind of mentioned the fact that you should probably go for some more attacking options, and Aït-Nouri is going to be that perfect mold. Now not only does he have attacking threat, Southampton away is a strong fixture. They might concede, but at least Aït-Nouri has that massive attacking threat. The same could be said about Mazraoui. With the suspension to other kind of Manchester United fullbacks, Mazraoui should be playing in that position, and I just prefer him. Every time I watch him, he seems like he's a great option. Now the only thing about these kind of Southampton and Leicester games are they both are away from home, but there's always going to be a chance of a clean sheet in both those games. Then finally, it's going to be Gabriel against Chelsea. You guys could also go for Guardiola, whoever you decide in the slot. This is probably reserved for a more premium defender, but I guess Gabriel also offers attacking threat. I just prefer kind of Arsenal's defense slightly to Man City, and that's why I chose Gabriel over Guardiola. But to be honest, Gabriel's attacking threat has dried up over these past few game weeks. Then our midfield department, it almost kind of picks itself, at least the first two options. Bruno Fernandes is definitely going to be a locked-in selection against Leicester away, and I think he's probably my vice-captain in the squad. You guys could also go for the Cam C if you want to. This is a great fixture as mentioned. Just don't trust United's attack that much. Second of all, it's going to be Kluivert. We spoke about kind of going for Bruno or Kluivert in my own team selection, so why not just go for both on a free hit? Definitely the best kind of Bournemouth midfield if you guys want to go there. Has the penalty threat and has been in the best form out of all of them. I would know this as I do own Semenyo. I've also included him here, but if I could go for a Dango, I would have. But with the current rotation, Semenyo is just a bit safer. If he doesn't rack up a yellow card and miss a big chance, he's a pretty good FPL asset. Not my favorite asset in the world though, but I think that you guys should basically blanket the Bournemouth midfielders, and that'll allow you to get as many attacking returns as possible. My final midfielder option is going to be Gibbs White. This selection though is up in the air. You guys can literally go anywhere you want. You could go for a Lunga or Hudson-Odoi instead. You could go for Mbumo's on our bench at the moment if you do prefer him. I just really like this Ipswich game, and I'm going to speak about this shortly, but you guys really should target fixtures. You guys might have seen it, but for example, let's just take Bournemouth. I'm hoping that they do well against Brentford, and therefore I'm going for a triple up if possible. On a free hit, you guys can actually do this because it allows you to be a bit more differential. If it's a good fixture, why not go for the triple up? It also allows you to try and get as many attacking returns as possible, because maybe for one goal Semenyo gets the assist, Kluivert for the other goal, and if you were to only select one, you might miss out on potential attacking returns. Especially useful if there is quite a big goal share in the squad, and with Bournemouth at the moment, can't really say there's one main talisman. It's the same with Gibbs White. I could go for an Mbumo, but then I'm basically backing against Bournemouth, so why not just go for Nottingham Forest and hope they score a bunch of goals. Now up front, it's going to be pretty easier. Erling Haaland on a free hit, I would recommend. He's quite differential, and he's my current captain, just backing the projected goals from Man City. Now I think there might be question marks about potentially dropping Salah or Palmer for Haaland on free transfers, but on a free hit, it's a pretty much no-brainer with all that money in the bank. If you don't trust them enough, you can go for a Bruno Fernandes as your captain or a Chris Wood, but I want to play the odds here and go for the differential. Then we spoke about putting all our eggs in one basket, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing with our second striker, and that's Evan Nielsen from Bournemouth. So the fact that he started in game week 28, came off a little bit into the second half but scored a goal, basically tells me his first choice as striker. So we're going to add another Bournemouth attacker here and just hope they do well, but out of the forward options I do like him as a selection. The only other variation here might be going for someone like Raul Jimenez. He's on penalties, which is an added benefit. and as you would have seen, Fulham's projections are going to be super high. Another selection that might be up in the air, you guys can add your own flavor to this draft if you want to. It's the same with Gibbs White. There are a few alternatives if you guys want to go there, mainly Raul Jimenez or Beto from Everton. The final selection, I've left him last because he's probably the worst selection for your free hit, and that's going to be Chris Wood from Nottingham Forest. All jokes aside though, you guys know I haven't owned him and he's been wrecking my rank. And I mentioned earlier on, I think he's going to have the highest effective ownership of any player. Does make sense though, he's an elite finisher against a newly promoted squad, and that's why on a free hit, you might as well just go for him as your selection. Could be an alternative Camp-C choice even if you guys do want to go there. Definitely probably the safest option if you guys want to hold your rank. Chris Wood does wrap up our starting 11 though, a stacked bench if there is some rotation, but I highly doubt it after a week's rest. Now you guys have so much money in the bank you don't have to worry about not affording this draft, and you guys can add your own flavor to it. Do you agree with Gibbs White and Evan Nielsen as selections? Otherwise, I think the rest of the team kind of picks itself is pretty template, and now my job is to try and fit this mold with my 3 free transfers in my own team. Comment down below though, how's your free hit draft looking if you guys have activated the chip? Always like to see if you guys have some alternatives to my current template. Otherwise, if you're not on the free hit, don't worry, team selection coming up shortly. Make sure those bonifications are turned on. Otherwise, watch out for that European football coming this midweek. Hopefully no major upsets. This is basically a wrap video guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you didn't subscribe if you have subscribed yet. Content's still to come, so make sure those bonifications are turned on. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's me, Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.